we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
All right. Good morning, church. Good morning. Woo! It's Friday. My eyes have seen the light of the coming of some unity, coming of some freedom. How's everybody doing this morning? This is Gerard. Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to greet everybody a happy Friday. Welcome to Whack-A-Mole, Whack-A-Mole, Whack-A-Fool. Some of y'all young people don't get, but I love y'all young people being here. I know y'all didn't play some of the games we played growing up. We didn't have all the exciting stuff, the electronics and Whack-A-Mole on a digital screen. No, we whacked a mole. Boy, you got in there and you got your hammer. You had to get some real whacking going. So, but isn't that where we are today? We are in a worldwide, I know you thought it was just your community, your race, your religion. No, no, brother. We are in a worldwide game of whack-a-mole. Whack some dumb mole. I almost said the wrong word. I almost said something. Yeah, I was going to say it. Whack-a-mole. You know what? Hold on, let me get a little coffee. Have your eyes seen the glory? That's what I want to know. Have your eyes seen the glory? Church. Non-church, because I got my atheist friend, non-church. Have your eyes seen the microbiology? Have they? Have your eyes talked to the fungi? I'm good with that. I'm good with all of that, man. I'm not lost in any sort of idea that we're supposed to fight over religion and race and all of that silly stuff. And I played Martin Luther King for a reason. I opened with Martin for a reason. Mainly because when you went, oh, hold on, I'm sorry. I didn't even say good morning to people. Good morning, people. I didn't say who's in the room. Do I even have a quorum? Am I talking to myself from Whack-A-Mole? You know, don't play Whack-A-Mole by yourself. It's no fun. We got Jennifer is in the house this morning. Brother Mark, always good to see you. Harsh Med, welcome. Good talk the other day, brother. Y'all should check out Harsh Med. Deborah and Kathy and Nicole and Rhonda, and Julie, and Jennifer, and David, and Lynn. Hey, Lynn, Mark. I already got Mark. Julia, Abdul, Lynn, Maria, Deborah. Okay, we got a quorum this morning. We got some people in the house this morning. All right, Brother Tyron in the house from Texas. What's up, bro? All right, let me stop playing. Woo! Good morning, good morning. Hey, Terry. Hey, Sean. All right. This is what I was kind of thinking about, right? I like to go back to Martin Luther King. I like to go back to JFK. I like to go back to people who actually changed something, right? And if not an actual physical change, a mental, psychological, societal change, right? Shifting and changing that human race so we start running it again, right? Because that's where we're at. We got to start running again. We got to start running the race. You know what? I'll finish my whack-a-mole. Let me finish my whack-a-mole. I got somewhere else I got to go, so let me finish my whack-a-mole real quick. So if you haven't figured out by now, that how this whole thing works is they divide people up and they whack, and you're cheering the whacking, right? Like, oh, we gonna whack away. We gonna, once we get Iraq, it's gonna be okay. Terrorism, once we get rid of Afghanistan, terrorism gonna be okay. Once we get rid of that, once we get the immigrants out, it's gonna be okay. Once we get them darn minorities, it's gonna be okay. Once we get the rednecks, it's gonna be okay. And you know how this works? When you empower psychopathic people in leadership of every damn thing with this willing to whack. You ever seen a little kid on whack-a-mole? Go see a little toddler play whack-a-mole at one of your little arcades. I think we still got arcades. You ever try to stop a toddler from playing whack-a-mole when they was really getting hot on it? This is what you're doing with your governments. When they just get the hot to whack, it's like, oh, this president, this leadership, this administration, this party, they're on our side. Because when they get done whacking, like, oh no, I'm delicious on this. I'm enjoying. Your time is coming. You can duck all you want, but when you pop up, it's gonna whack the hell out you. And I think who pops up? What is the analogy for popping up? I think popping up is profit, right? Because right now in America, we like this. Hold on, let me see if I get down. We like it. We in the hole. We're not profitable yet to whack. I mean, they whack us a little bit, but they don't really get us too much. So we down here, but they're getting ready. They're getting the police state up going. They're making sure they got all the FEMA camps set up and they got all the bullets and the hollow points and all this. Getting ready for y'all little ignorant people. Getting ready for y'all dividing and fighting each other. Getting ready. Got the Constitution on the run. Burning it up like you wouldn't believe. No civil rights. No human rights. And we down in the hole. We don't know. It's our turn. We down in the hole. Like, yeah, get North Korea. Go and get them bats of crazy Kim Jong done something ill. Go and get Iran. Get the war on terror. And all of a sudden, it's our turn. Time. Make America profitable. Boop! We pop up, and here come the toddler. When? Oh, when will your eyes see the glory of the awakening of the whack-a-mole? All right, yo, we have to be more than moles. We have to be more. Let me get off of here. I got to talk about a little bit of fear. Because, how do they divide people up into all the little whack-a-mole holes thinking that their turn ain't going to pop up? The left and the right. It's fear. It's fear. Well, it's fear. Hold on. Because you know why? There's always some sort of zombie apocalypse coming. Damn it. You got to get a truck. Got to get some armor on the side of the truck and some guns, save your water, get some solar panels. We got a doomsday prep, get ready, because always scared of something, right? Like, because isn't that how things work in a society that's driven on fear and consumption? You can't let the people stop buying. Because if the people stop buying, then you stop making money. So hold on, let me get over here. And so this is my zombie apocalypse vehicle. Y'all like my vehicle? I got my vehicle. We can run over some zombies and we don't have to worry about they get stuck up in the wheels because the wheels are covered. And we don't have to worry about the hordes, because y'all ever watch the zombie shows, you can get hordes of zombies. And so you got to make sure that you got the power to push through. There's always some fear or something. You think about a society that constantly needs you to buy crap. A society that, big corporations, that the only way they can get bigger is if you keep buying their crap. You keep being, and if you don't have a lot of money, they got to scare you into buying it. So you know how it works with everything in production. You got weapons of mass destruction. Got to go kill some people. You got Zika. Damn it, we need billions of dollars for some vaccines for Zika. Everybody run. We got to spray the mosquitoes. You got chemical weapons. Got to invade somebody. You got flesh-eating bacteria. Don't go swimming in the water, and you got to take some sort of pill to do it. Got Al-Qaeda. Got to invade somebody. ISIS. Got to invade war. Got to fund somebody. Got to send somebody some guns. Constantly proving money, 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 money. Spend, spend. Killer bees is coming, y'all. Get your Roundup. Got to spray your house down. Whatever. Swine flu is coming. You know, we got to get some vaccines, get ready, give a lot of money to the pharmaceutical industry. And we keep going with avian flu. And my gosh, it goes on and on. All this stuff to fear everybody into letting their tax dollars get spent with these big corporations or getting you out in the street to buy something to prepare for some sort of apocalypse. But you got to keep buying. You know, every year you got a flu. You got to get your flu shot. Doomsday is coming. You got to buy some water, get some MREs, get a bunker, put it underground. Home invasions. Oh, we need a police state because people just murdering, robbing, killing everybody all over. So we got to vote against the Constitution. Terrorism. You know, it just goes on and on. Somebody might steal your car, so you need to have some new security. Got to put security on your house. Somebody might break in your house. Meanwhile, ain't nobody ever broke in your house. And ain't nobody stole that raggedy car. Nobody even went inside there. Gaddafi and Iran and oh my gosh. It can get to be too much. And they do this because fear sells. If they can get you scared, they can get you buying something. And so you're constantly buying and buying and buying. And we keep going back to the fact that this is why after 9/11, the first thing out of Bush's mouth, the very first thing out of Bush's mouth, go out and shop. Don't stop spending. Keep spending. You guys got to prop us up. If you don't prop up the corporations that are sticking money in our pockets, we won't be able to keep our jobs. And if they collapse, then y'all might get your government back. We don't want that. We want the money. But they keep fearing you into it. And you can't be scared. And I think a lot of that fear is based on this NFL Coliseum mentality of losing, right? Like, because they always convince somebody that you're going to lose. If we don't do this, I know that we're evil, but we're the least of the evils. So you need to set your morals back a little bit. You need to set your ethics back, and you need to come vote for us or be with us or join our team or join our group or get behind us because we can't let them get in control. You got to do anything, but you can't let the zombies get in control, you know? And so they do it, and they get you in this win mentality, right? Winism. I don't know what you call it. Everybody needs to win something. They want you to win. And what I think is, I don't think we're supposed to win. Like, I don't think this is about winning. I don't think that doing right has nothing to do with winning. I think doing the right thing, standing up for human rights and people, I think it has to do with just being a human being and being in the race, not running the other way. I think it has to do with shooting your basket in the right. I got to tell you something. So my middle son played basketball once. He gonna be mad at me. And I was so proud of him. I love basketball. I used to play. I know it's probably racist, stereotypist, whatever. But I played basketball. I don't care. I did. I played some other stuff too, but I played tennis. But you know, I was a proud father. I was in the crowd yelling. I was like, "Go, Miles, go, brother, go!" He'd get the basketball. He'd get to go. He didn't like touching that ball. That brother, oh no, hell no. He grabbed the ball. People started looking at him. I was like, "Go, Miles, shoot!" And he was so nervous to get the ball. Finally, the ball came to him. I said, "Listen." I said, "Miles." I said, "Listen." I said, "Every time you touch the basketball, I'm gonna buy you a donut." I know it's wrong, it's bad, it's horrible. I didn't know about gluten back then, y'all. I didn't know sugar caused cancer. I didn't know. And so the boy's like, "I get a donut?" That boy went all over the basketball court trying to get that ball, fighting people, throwing elbows. He like me on the court, throwing fouls. Finally got the ball, and he didn't know what to do with it. He ran to the wrong basket. I was like, no, the wrong basket. Listen. Play for the right team, y'all. Always know where your basket's at. Always know. This is why I say, if you're going to be a part of the human race, run the race. Run the race. We let profit and money and greed and all these things get in the way. and we stopped running. We let fear get in the way. And we started negotiating with the least of the evils. And what I'm thinking is, why are you in this to win? What? Because somebody said that to me once. They said, well, you're not going to win. We got to do this, or we're not going to win. We have to look past the war in Iraq so we can win. We got to look past drugging the troops so we can win. We got to look past starving 20 million people in Yemen so we can win. Who's in this to win it? I'm not in this to win it. I've decided a long time ago, this is not about a win. In fact, look at Martin Luther King going to prison, JFK getting shot, Martin Luther King getting shot, John Lennon, all of them who stood up. You might say they lost in some ways. They weren't in it to win. In fact, they all talked about it, that we may not see at the end of the voyage. They stood up for what was right because it was right. Why are you in this to win this? It's like I was posting something this morning. I'm not in this to win it, yo. I'm in this to hand something to the next generation. That's why I say what's true. I say what's right. And when it comes to be wrong, I'll agree and I'll back down and say it was wrong. I'm no genius. I have no ego to put out there. It's all about what's right, doing what's right, standing in the right spot, being on the human team, the human race team, and letting all the chips fall where they may. That's when you win. You win when you don't have fear. You win when you're not so scared that you got to turn against some other groups of humans because, you know what, look, are we facing a monstrous battle? Yes, we are. We are facing the juggernaut. We are facing a beast beyond proportions because, unfortunately, to most of the people who understand this in the Western world, we let our governments take over every damn thing. And they did it because there were corporations behind them, and we really don't know who's behind them. But we gave our governments away, and so now we aren't in control of anything anymore. They have no fear of us. So we got a big battle to fight. Let me show you something. This is an image I was thinking of this morning. We got a fight ahead of us, brother. And if you're scared to lose, you've already lost. This the fight we got. Because y'all done gave everything to the police state. Y'all done gave everything to the corporations. Y'all done gave everything to the chemical companies so they can poison everybody. They can poison the water. They can put cops on you for anything. This is the fight we got. But look at this brother. Does this brother look scared? Look at his face. You know what? You bigger than me, and you fatter than me. That's okay. But I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight you. You ever get bit by a little dog? You ever notice how the big dogs, they kind of bite you and they kind of just play with you a little bit? The little dog, oh no. The little dog, he doesn't let up. He'll come at you again and again and again and again. And that's what we have to do. Y'all, we have to not look at, oh, what are we going up against? And oh, I need to put my morals aside. I need to put my ethics aside, and I need to vote or work with the least of the evils. No, because you know why? You know what the least of the evils are? Evil. The least of the evil is evil. Why would you ever get on the side of evil and thinking you're doing anybody any damn good? Never get on the side of evil. Always be on the side of good. This is how I look at it like this. Here's another little image. I try to get a little image and have a little fun. Know what that is? That's an Akita. Boy, I had Akitas growing up. Oh man, beautiful dogs, strong. They were actually bred for bear hunting, right? And the example I had a little sister, and this is back in the days where we used to let dogs run free. And so we had our Akita sitting out front. And this one's name, I think, was Kuma. And he would sit out front. And I had my little sister, and I wasn't always around, And she'd be out in the front yard playing with her little friends. And so her friends would come over, and they're all little kids just playing in the front yard, 5, 7, 6, 7 years old, 4 or 5 of them, Michaela and all the rest of the little girls. And Kuma would go out there and sit on the front porch. And he would sit there. And if somebody walked in our circle, Kuma would get up, he'd walk down to the edge of the driveway, and he'd sit there and look at you. He wouldn't leave the yard, but he would sit there and look at you. Didn't matter who you were, didn't matter how many of them you were. He would position himself between those little babies and you. and he'd just sit there and look at you and dare you to come in the yard. Could have been a bear. Could care less. Why? Because I got a purpose. He had a purpose in life, and he knew this is my pack. This is my friends in my pack. You ain't coming in the yard. I don't care who you are. And so this is what you gotta think like a dog in terms of abundance. I mean, they're not wolves anymore, but they have a mission and a purpose. And the mission and the purpose, that's a piece of their genetics that they evolved to always take care of the next generation. The next generation was always more important. There was no needing to deal with evils. There was no needing to be fearful and try to win. This is not about winning. This is about there's some little girls in the yard. They're the littlest ones in my pack. And if you try to come at me, you're going to have to kill me. And that's what people need to have in them all over the world. This is the mentality. People have to be as tenacious and as wise and as fearless as the dogs who would go after bears. And I got to show you something else. I love me some Akitas, man. Beautiful dogs. But look at this now. So, because the next generation is on the run. And the next generation, they need to eat. And the predators, the bad guys, the evil ones, the both sides of the least of the evils of what you think they are, they withhold the food from them. They withhold the water. They withhold the freedom. They withhold the life. And your job, perhaps like an Akita, is to take them down. And not even if you're going to take them down, because you might lose. You might lose in a time sense, right? In a timeline sense, you might lose. You might lose your life. You might lose your freedom. You might lose something. You might lose your job. But you're delaying things for the next generation. You're putting ideas out. You're inspiring people. You are doing things because they're right, not because you think they're right now. We need to get in the focus of doing what's right and standing up for what's right, which is what Martin Luther King was talking about, as opposed to doing what feels good right now. You know what? Somebody used to talk about relationships, and they talked about how so many people fail in relationships because they always after Mr. Right Now, not Mr. Right. And you know the problem is when you go after Mr. Right Now, is you miss Mr. Right. Mr. Right comes along, and you're with Mr. Right Now, he won't have nothing to do with you, and he keeps on going. Get focused on what's right. Think about things in terms of long term. Think about things in terms of, I'm doing it because it's right. I'm not doing it because I think I'm going to win. I'm not doing it because it's fun right now. I'm not doing it because it's popular. I'm going to do it because it's right. You know, if you ever look back at Dr. King, you know you won't find too many pictures with him with Malcolm X. You ever wonder why that is? I don't know if y'all ever looked into it. You ever wonder why you don't find too many pictures with Malcolm X? He didn't dislike Malcolm X. They, long-term wise, they had the same goal. However, Malcolm had a very different strategy when he was young. When he was young and he was in the Nation of Islam, his strategy was one of more of an accepting of violent retaliation, violent behavior. Dr. King knew he couldn't be associated with that. Why? Why would Martin Luther King not want to be associated with that? Because he figured out that no change has ever happened unless everybody agreed. As long as the power structure's got a certain percentage of people who will turn against you, vote against you, or get behind a government, which usually is locked into corruption and profit, you'll never change anything. Because the government doesn't need a whole lot of support. They just need a little bit. And so what Dr. King knew was that if he did photo ops, meetings, he turned Malcolm down for meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting until the very end. And the reason why is because he knew he would lose the people on the fence if he met with somebody cheering violence. He knew he would lose those white folks that were needed to just, and this wasn't to change necessarily a world or a society, but this was meant to just get some legislation, y'all. This is This was just for some civil rights, and this was just for legislation, but he knew he needed everybody he could. Otherwise, nothing would change, just for a few laws. What we're talking about doing, we're talking about changing a world. We're talking about changing a society, a culture. Why? Because where we are, it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable in any way, shape, form, or fashion, which is why all this corruption and profit and all these groups all over. And this is not about America, you guys. This is about everywhere, wherever you are. You have to take down the sword for your others, your enemy. You got to put the sword away, because that sword that you keep for them is how they keep you divided, and it's how they keep you conquered. You have to look back at every movement that ever changed anything without millions of people dying. It was always through peace. It was always through listening to who your perceived enemy was, finding out that they have very valid reasons for why they stand where they do, getting that common ground and making a change. I had another theory I'm going to throw out here. I'm going to throw something out here to you. So, and it's all going to be a lie. I'm going to let you know right now. I'm about to lie. I'm not the news media. I'm not CNN and Fox. When I'm about to lie, I'm going to tell you a lie. I'm about to lie. It's going to be a good lie as a story. It's a long time ago, the Egyptians, they figured out. The Egyptians were smart, y'all. Y'all got to pay attention. The Egyptians, they knew that down the road, humanity would be so dumb that they would start to worship the stork. And so they created hieroglyphs and they created pictures to warn the future generations that one day down the road, humanity would be so dumb that they would allow the stork to determine their society. They would allow the stork to tell everybody where you should stand, where you should fight, who you should fight with, why you should fight, to determine even for their children where they should live, whose friends are acceptable, who can come over to dinner. They allowed storkism. They knew eventually we were going to worship stork. We were going to become a stork worshiping society. And some people are thinking like, what the hell is he talking? He finally done lost it. I don't know what's he talking. I'm not tracking. Birth lotteries, y'all. We talk about birth lotteries. We talk about you were born into a race. You are born into a religion. You are born into a class. You are born into something. And as parents, they have a choice to determine, am I going to let you determine what you're going to be? Am I going to let you determine who your friends are going to be? Am I going to let you determine what you feel is right to stand up for? Or am I going to give you the indoctrination that I was given? Am I going to give you, wherever the stork brought me, am I going to give you my storkism? It's kind of like racism in a way. It's called storkism. And you train your children, instead of letting them become these little phenomenal creatures that they are, we force them down the road, and this is your religion, so this is where you got to stand, and that's your enemy. You are this race, and so this is your race. That's your enemy. These are who should be your friends. Stop worshiping the stork. Let go of your storkism. Let go of your birth lottery. All of this stuff is a lie, and it's always been a lie. They use these things to control you. They use these things to make sure that they got just enough people, right? You ever think about vote counting and how all that works and all the studies, the million they pour in to figure out who's going to vote where, what group, where they're going to stand, how many of them, in what districts and where? They use your storkism against you. And they determine just what they got to do to keep the country just divided enough so you don't get to change anything. And is that not what they do in other nations? When they go to other nations, they make sure they got just enough support so they can cause a problem. And they have just enough support for this totalitarian government that everybody could hate. Most people could hate. But as long as they got a few of them, they got control. They got enough people to put in front of the camera. They got enough people to keep control. Get away from your storkism. Let it go, y'all. Let it go. It's just a birth lottery. And if you really think about it, it doesn't mean a damn thing. It doesn't. As a parent, do you really want your child to determine who they are? Or do you want whatever happened to your family in the past, which determine where you lived and what color you are and what religion you are, how much money you got, what class you're in? Do you want that to determine who they become? Stop giving these children your indoctrination, people. Stop giving it. Okay, I want to get into the news, and I know I kind of went down a couple paths, but it's Friday, y'all. We're not slaves today. We're not slaves. Unless you work the weekend, which I do. So I'm still a slave. So it don't really matter. I know y'all y'all can go enjoy your weekend. See what it's like to be human for a little bit. I can't do that. So, but anyway, that's fine. I don't worry about that. What do we got going on in it? We got the news, y'all. This is what's going on. Hacker lips. I'm gonna call it hacker lips. It's the hacker apocalypse, y'all. We are in the hacker apocalypse. If you have not been paying attention to the news, don't click on anything. Don't go anywhere near the internet. In fact, you know, every now and then you get trapped because the AIs, they like to determine who you make your friends. And so if you're a guy, you'll get all these booby women, these hoochie coochie girls, and they got like 4 friends or 3 friends. I said 4 and I put up 3. I know. Don't worry about me. And you accept their friendship, and come to find out it's just a bot. It's a page. It's an AI. Don't click on anything. We are in hacker lips. What happened is they've determined that the CPUs and for the last 10 years, the CPUs and the modifications they've been making to them to speed up your computer, to get faster and faster and faster, it created some holes. And they found the holes with it. It's not just, it's Intel, AMD, and the other major manufacturer. It's basically every laptop. There's an exploit hole where they can actually get in and see all data that's being transferred through memory. What does that mean? That means that these hackers, and they've actually let everybody know now, so it's all on the news, it's everywhere, all the hackers know. So Hot Pockets, the sales are going up because they ain't going to sleep. These dudes, they're drinking coffee, eating them Hot Pockets, and they just like this all night, you know, because they can get all your information. So if any data that's being transferred, your passwords, your encryption keys, you know, logins to your bank account, your personal, you know, all the little nasty pictures y'all got that you're not supposed to have, they can see all of it anytime it's being transferred through app. But what happens, my understanding is you have to click on something, right? So they actually have to have software on your PC for this to happen. I think there's a Windows 10 patch that's coming out now. Apple's going to take a bit longer, but it's a hardware flaw, right? So for most of the chips, there is no fix until you actually have a whole new CPU. So that's something to think about. Don't click on anything. Don't make friends with these people. I know she's hot. I know he's hot. They got him in a thong. Abba-dabba's all up his. Don't click on the picture. Don't click on the picture. Don't click on the link. Because it's not like the little hackers who kind of just want your password, play with your PC, and cause a little trouble. That's not who you have to worry about. That's not like what the real dangerous hackers do. The dangerous ones, you'll never know that you ever were hacked. You'll go to this website, you'll click on something, they'll install a little piece of code on your PC, and it'll just sit there and it'll learn, and it'll just watch. It won't do anything. You'll never know. It's a very small piece of code. You'll never know it's there. It'll get all your passwords. They don't care about your little nasty pictures, you and your husband. They don't worry about that. but they'll get your passwords, your bank information, your encryption keys, everything that they need, and they won't do anything with it for a while. And they'll just hold on to it. And whenever they want to make a big amount of money, they can go off and sell it to a firm that has a bigger hack where they want to exploit your bank accounts or whatever. So the dangerous hack, when you get hacked and you get hacked by a really dangerous hacker, you won't know. So that's going on right now, y'all. That's hacker lips, hacker apocalypse. It's always some fear, right? Oh, you gotta be scared of something. Oh, we gotta go buy new laptops. Y'all see how this works? Somebody just said the NSA. It could be. That actually, who was it, Lynn, who said, no, Brother Mark? Could be, right? Fear, 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 consumer, buy. And so now people running off. The price of laptops going to go through the roof. The price of Hot Pockets and frozen pizza is going to go through the roof. But this is how this works. And unfortunately, this is where it's at. Perhaps maybe you shouldn't be doing your banking online right now. Perhaps you shouldn't be going to dirty websites. I don't know. Something to think about. What else is going on? Pakistan. What's happening in Pakistan? Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, Pakistan. Hold on. Let me see. I might have to show you that news clip. So with Pakistan, we decided we're going to hold back billions in bribe money because they won't let us fight the war on terror the way we want to. This is the whole Pakistan whack-a-mole. So we're over there whacking moles all over Pakistan, and now we're going to withhold money. Hold on, let me pull this one up. I think this one is worth a little bit of a watch. I believe. I believe I can fly. I believe I'm a stork. Hold on, let me do that. I don't want to. Blade Runner. Y'all gotta watch Blade Runner coming out. Blade Runner. All right, we got it.
Is suspending its security assistance to Pakistan, which has long been its ally in the fight against terrorism in Afghanistan. Washington accuses Pakistan of not making a serious effort in fighting terror groups like the Taliban.
We are suspending security assistance only to Pakistan at this time, until the Pakistani government takes decisive action against groups, including the Afghan Taliban and the Haqqani network. We consider them to be destabilizing the region and also targeting U.S. personnel. The United States will suspend that kind of security assistance to Pakistan.
Well, it is in the wake of Trump's first tweet of the year, which outlined his regret at the US paying Pakistan billions of dollars in aid. He accused Washington's regional ally of being a safe haven for terrorists in Afghanistan, which America's trying to defeat. Trump's Twitter diplomacy sparked a furious response, though, from Pakistan's foreign minister. Samira Khan has more on that and also the wider ramifications.
Well, the foreign minister of Pakistan, Khwaja Asif, has issued a fierce response to Trump accusing Pakistan of providing safe havens for terrorists they're fighting in Afghanistan in not one tweet, but three.
You ask what we've done. From our bases, you carried out 57,800 attacks on Afghanistan. Thousands of our civilians and soldiers became victims of the war you initiated. We stood by you, treated your enemy as our own. We filled Guantanamo Bay. Now, history teaches us not to blindly trust the US. We are sorry they are unhappy, but we will not demean ourselves anymore.
Woo! It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna leave on all my clothes. That's a song, but I'm not taking that. No, we're gonna do. This is not that type of show. So what's going on? The way I kind of process this. First of all, I'm kind of laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. But I'm excited that they finally said it. They came out and said we killed 57,000. We allowed you to take our citizens and wrap them all up in prisons, and we're done. We're done with your bribe money. We're done. And don't get off on the Trump boat, because now people, oh, yeah, see, I told you about Trump. No, because Obama did it too, and so did Clinton and Bush and everybody else. So shut up. So listen, so how does this work? Is our federal government, they bribe people. This is how it works. This is why you have no state rights. This is why the states will never have rights. And the federal government does everything, because all these little laws that they pass, the money that goes to these states, it's based on you doing what Washington wants you to do. And if you don't do it, you don't get the billions. Or in the states, it's hundreds of millions. But it's the same thing in Pakistan. It's the same thing all over the world. They pay out this bribe money, which means you get no rights. And so all those Pakistani citizens that are sitting in Guantanamo, the ones who were murdered and killed, and they have no human rights, no rights, it's still based on this same basic principle. They take the bribe, and they lose their rights. This is why the Department of Justice now is waging that war on cannabis, and the states have no rights. Remember all the state rights y'all was getting about the state rights? We're going to get some state rights. I told you, this is not how this game is played. It does not matter who the president is. The president is insignificant in the scheme of things. This is a power play for the world, and Wall Street or whoever's behind them has got Washington in their pocket along with most of the Western governments. So I'm kind of excited about this. I'm kind of excited. And I'm actually I know it's crazy. I'm cheering the Pakistani 1%. The Pakistani 1% of the 1%. They're corrupt and dirty as everybody else. But on this policy, they actually are standing up for their citizens' rights to a degree. I'm sure they're violating their rights everywhere else. But they're actually standing up and they're saying, you'll no longer be murdering our citizens. Hopefully they stop the drones that are flying over. This is what we need to see. Right? Because they're a crazy psychopath government like ours is, but they're actually doing something to preserve human life. And this is what I mean about getting in the race, running the human race. There are only two fights that have ever been fought ever in history, and that is running for or against the haves and the have-nots. That's the only significant sides in all of this. Yeah, I kind of think of it as like, I posted a meme this morning. I don't know if y'all liked it. Sometimes I post memes. I get a little wordy. I put a little too much in there, a little too much sauce. But it was a baby in a jersey, right? Talking about the birth lotteries. It was a baby, some storkism. It was a baby born in a jersey. And it was like a little baby had the jersey, and it said, team number one, team one. Because you're born in Pakistan, because you're born in an American trailer park, because you're born in an American ghetto, because you're born in a ghetto in Jerusalem, because you're born in Pakistan, you actually don't have to cheer the jersey that you're given. You don't. You can actually cheer the human race. You can actually cheer the respect of human life. You can actually do that. And this is what we talk about, storkism. So I'm off. I want to talk about a few things. But yeah, the war on cannabis continues. They're actually, what's the Department of Justice doing? They're actually taking down some legislation from last, I have to look back into it, but the legislation from the last administration that made it so that the federal government wouldn't go after the cannabis folks. And they're doing this right after California. We all just passed that bill where recreational is now legal. And so that's why they're doing it. Recreation is not legal. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. This is where the price part comes in, right? There's always a price to pay for some freedom. And the reality is they're coming for you. They don't give a damn about state rights. This is all about pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical profits, which is why I say if you voted the way you did because you thought we weren't going to get mandatory vaccines, you might as well get that up. Mandatory vaccines are coming. Why? Because cannabis is not coming. And why is it not coming? Because the pharmaceutical industry say, no, you can't have it. And because they say, no, you can't have it, it means that they're in bed with the same people in Washington they're always in bed with. So that's what's going on with the whole cannabis thing. You got to make your own choices what you want to do. But I believe they're leaving medicinal alone if you have a medicinal license. If you got recreational, this is how they're going to walk you into doing what they want because they're going to pick and choose who they prosecute. So y'all need to be careful on that side. But some good evidence of what's going on there. Mary said they won't attack Pakistan because they have nukes. Yep, spot on. Ain't going. They talk stuff. They talk junk. They just do anything they can, but they will not attack. They have nukes. That. If you want to see world peace break out all over the world, just give everybody nukes. That's a dumb idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I'm saying that is how world peace will break out. You don't pick with governments with nukes. You like to pick on the little people. Like the picture of the sumo and the little kid. They go pick on the little kid because this is about money. They want to make as much as they can. It has nothing to do with any of the nonsense of human rights. You want to protect some children, but that's all a lie. It's all about money. And you don't make money if somebody starts blasting nukes. So they'll leave Pakistan stand alone. I totally agree with you, but I'm glad to see Pakistan stand up a little bit for its people. And Brother Mark said also China will bomb us too. Yep. And because those allies are in there, which is why I think geopolitics, I hate the word politics, but it's interesting right now because the world is changing. People are shifting powers and crazy stuff like this, like Turkey. Do y'all know America broke the law? America broke the 1% law. Let me go back and show you. Let me see. Did I grab this? America broke the 1% law. Oh yeah, this is crazy. America, you in trouble. America, y'all in trouble. America broke the rule, the law. The number one rule. Remember we talked about yesterday? Every group has rules. Every group has the 1% of the 1%. They have like one law. And in the 1%, they got like 5 laws they gotta stand up for. And then the rest of us, the 99% all around the world, we got laws. We got in America, at least though they give us the laws, they tell us what they are. You can't do this, can't go here, can't do that, can't smell this, can't sniff this, can't smoke that, can't that. They got all that locked down. Other nations, they don't even tell you what the laws are. They just come arrest you. But at least our laws, they're kind of written out what we can't do. But America broke the primary rule. You can't put a banker in prison. You cannot make a banker pay. And so what America did, let me show you this. America, they went after a banker. They broke the rule.
The United States should excuse us, but the laws in our bilateral ties and the bilateral accords between us are losing their validity. I'm saddened to say this, but this is how it will be from now on.
Well, that statement was made after a Turkish banker was convicted in the United States. Guy's name is Mehmet Hakan Atilla. He is the deputy director of a Turkish state-owned bank who could now be facing up to 30 years in prison. That's the catalyst for this, or the latest one anyway. He was found guilty of making a $1 billion deal with Iran despite those US sanctions.
Uh-oh! So now we got problems. So this is what's happening. So Turkey, they're talking about ending the bilateral agreements because America's about to put one of their bankers in prison because they're doing dirty deals with Iran. And so all that's going on. So remember, the billionaires, they're all on this, they know what team they're on. It's y'all is lost and you can't figure out, the whole stork thing and storkism and all that silly stuff y'all fight on. They know what team they're on. And the rule is you don't put any of our buddies in prison. And Turkey, they didn't care. They're like, oh, y'all can have whatever sanctions you want. We're going to do business with who we choose to do business with. And so that banker got caught. And so now they're talking about putting this guy in jail. This is where all stops are pulled out. Like this actually can cause wars to happen. Like between the billionaires, you don't break that rule. Like this is all about us keeping the stupid people fighting, everybody locked into nationalism, fighting each other so we can continue to rape the world. But there's probably a little conflict between the billionaires and the military industrial complex and what they want to do with Iran and mineral companies that want to pump that stuff out in oil, and an issue with the bankers in Turkey that got another, profit scheme that they got going on with Iran, sell them whatever they're selling them or something over there. So you're watching it play out. I'm laughing at it. I think it's funny. First of all, I don't think he's going to jail. I don't think it's going to happen. I could be totally wrong. You can take this video, throw it in my face later. Very rarely do any billionaires ever go to prison or any buddies of billionaires. No American presidents, Congress, Senate, it just doesn't happen. So the idea that what's happening right now, people they're flipping out on this. What's happening right now in the back channels, the billionaires, they're on the golf course. They're golfing and just talking. Okay, we got to get that man out. How do we get that man out? I don't know. We have to come to some sort of agreement. And they're just sitting there talking, relaxing, drinking martinis, playing golf, and they'll figure out the deal. And they'll come up with some little cover story, government. Oh, well, he escaped and, so he's not going to prison. He got away or something. Because that's how it always happens. That's the whole thing with Hitler got away. Hopefully y'all are watching the series. If you didn't hear, Hitler did get away. There were many, many theories as to which way he went, how he went, whatever, but he ended up in a U-boat, got to his voyage, got to South America. They don't ever pay. They don't ever pay because we don't force them to pay. Why? Because we're too busy fighting each other over our stork lotteries, our stork birth lotteries. That's why. It's so ridiculous. Like the whole concept is just, it's like, no, it's just like people believe whatever they want to believe. And it's like, no, you're a human being. No, I'm black. No, you're not. You're a human being. I'm white. No, you're not. I'm Hispanic. I'm Christian. I'm Muslim. You're a human being. You're born with zero, just an empty palate. And someone injects in you an indoctrination they want to give you, and you're not supposed to live the rest of your life based on some lies that they gave you. That's just dumb. All right, that's not dumb. All right, I'm sorry. I know. Sometimes it gets to me because I kind of want people to figure it out and to stop being played by the same little silliness. Sister Kathy said it's all theater, and it is. It's always a theater. It's this great big stage play, and we need to start throwing tomatoes. That's what I'm thinking. I saw something the other day. It's like we all got tickets. What did Brother Carlin say? We all got tickets to the crazy show. Oh, what is the quote? It's like the world is something like it's an insane asylum, I'm gonna mess it up. I know I'm messing it up. One of y'all post it later, it'll be right, but I'm gonna say it wrong. That we all get tickets to the circus, and if you're born in America, you're just sitting in the front row. And what do I think? I think we are sitting in the front row for a reason. And it's not just America, it's the Western world. And there are a few Middle Eastern governments that have a lot of power too, where the people can actually do a few things. If you got a front row ticket to this world crazy insanity show, your job is to throw tomatoes, damn it. Get the tomatoes, make sure they're rotten, and some eggs. And you're supposed to be throwing tomatoes because, you know, when you stop cheering and clapping for psychopath behavior and insanity and killing and murdering people and families, when you stop clapping for that stuff, they change the show because they need you to clap. The people in the back, they can't reach nobody. And the problem is in the back, they got the teleprompter, so they can actually see very clearly that, oh, this is corruption. What the hell are they? Why are they clapping in the front? What the hell is wrong with them? And they're trying to throw their tomatoes, and their tomatoes can't reach the stage, but we're in the front. We're supposed to be throwing tomatoes. Lynn, you all you kidding? Lynn just said we need to be throwing poo. I'm good with that. Throw poo bombs. Throw whatever you want to throw. But you're supposed to be like calling this foul. You're not supposed to be locked up with your stork identity and falling in and going with that nonsense. I said throw poo. You guys are crazy. All right, so what else we got going? There's a couple other things going on. I was thinking, man, I can't believe it's Friday. We are buried in snow. Now is a good time, y'all. I like to talk about old-timey stuff, right, like wisdom. You know, when we used to take care of our neighbors. If you got the whole eastern, and I think it's mostly the eastern United States is buried under snow. We all got that blizzard that's coming out. If you got some elderly neighbors, y'all, you need to go check on them. Go check on them. Why? Because that's what we did when we grew up. Go check on them. They need to have their driveway shoveled. Go ahead and shovel it. Don't ask them. Don't talk to them. Go shovel it. You know, if you got one that trucks with a plow on it, go ahead and do that. If you got some kids sitting at home playing their video games, give them shovels and send them over to the neighbors. Why? Because that's how you build up your community. That's how you make people. And plus, you don't want to leave people at home. A lot of people, they don't, now in the past, I think they used to come to you and ask for help. People don't do that anymore. So go look after your neighbors, you guys. This is a blizzard. They're calling it something about the big blow ball or something. I don't know what they're calling it. Something crazy. Check on your neighbors because that's how you build a strong community. Remember, national security is the same thing as community security. You want to help, you want to build up national security, you make sure your neighbors are secure. You make sure that you don't send a war on drugs to Mexico, destabilize their economy, send people into poverty, cause rape gangs to be running all over and cartels to control everything, owning entire towns, and think that's going to make you secure. That's going to make you insecure because the people are going to get the hell out of there. They're going to run to your country, and then you're going to, like, you see what happens? You see how it all kind of plays together? National security is taking care of people. So instead, the reverse is you build up Mexico. You make sure that they're strong. You make sure that they're good. You build up that trust, and then Mexico looks out for you in case you ever need. In case the ice age comes and pushes down into the North America, now Mexico is your friend. Same thing with your neighbor. Go take care of your neighbor. Take them hot pie. Take them hot pockets. Do something. You know, tell them about the hacker lips. You know, but shovel that driveway. Help them out a little bit. You see them out there shoveling. Send the kids over there. The kids will be okay. They can go back and play that video game later. Because that's how you build strong communities. That's how our ancestors made it, was helping each other and building each other up. And I think that's how we get out of this. I think that's how, from Pakistan and Israel. And by the way, the vast majority of people that I've ever talked from, the friends that I've known, they have no interest in war in Pakistan or Israel. They have no interest in it. They just want peace. Most people all around the world, everybody, they just want to be left alone. And so if you can get past your storkism, get past your lotteries, and you build up strong communities where your neighbors trust each other and everybody got a place to live, got some food, house, water, everybody's good. We don't have to worry about security because nobody's trying to rob you because nobody's homes are destabilized. All right, so what we got else got going on? A lot of stuff going on. Oh, I don't know if I looked. I didn't research this one. I didn't research it, but I just got a little piece of it. It's a little delicious. I got to put it out there. So finally, the mainstream media is accepting turmeric actually healed a woman's blood cancer. So the woman, she had blood cancer, and of course the doctors get to that place where we don't know what to do. We don't have no drugs for you. We can't heal nothing. And so the lady went off and started taking turmeric, and it was like it was a well-documented case. By the way, it's not the first time it happened. This has been happening since the beginning of humanity, since they discovered turmeric and they started eating it. The turmeric's been healing people from the very back when y'all was mammals or monkeys or whatever you believe in, aliens or something. Turmeric's been doing it for a long time. But they're finally admitting that this woman had blood cancer. None of the drugs and the treatments would work. She finally started taking the she finally started taking turmeric turmeric, and it healed her blood cancer. Once again, there isn't anybody on this planet that is qualified to tell you how the immune system works. They don't even know all the parts, bits, and pieces, and the different types of white blood cells that are even involved in all the healing and what they do. So always eat natural things, because natural things is what your body uses to heal itself. And it's been healing itself a hell of a lot longer than pharmaceutical companies. And I'm not saying don't trust your doctor. I'm not saying don't ask your doctor, because your doctor got the equipment, they got the diagnosis. Ask your doctor what the hell is wrong with you, because they are highly trained. They know how to do that. But after they tell you what's wrong with you, go find yourself a naturopath. Go find yourself some holistic methods. Try to heal yourself naturally. And if that fails for you, then you run back to the doctor. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Trust the naturopath. Trust the natural medicines. Trust your body. Trust how your body was designed to work before you trust these synthetic drugs and chemical companies. Because that's another thing that's wrong with the world. Every time you buy their medicine, you buy their drugs, you buy their treatment, you make them wealthier. As more wealthier you make, the more governments they can buy, the more politicians they buy, the more governments they get. The more governments they get, the more they war on it. The more they war on you, the more they can war on cannabis and natural medicine. The more they can do that, the more they can get people dividing, fighting, saying dumb stuff, throwing tomatoes at each other. The more they do that, the more they can take over the world. Because that's what this is all about. It's all about backing away from the industries that need us to just continue dumping our wealth into them and starting to actually stand in the right spot. Not stand in the spot that feels good, not stand in the popular spot, but stand. And where I stand, this is not popular. Where I stand is so not popular. If I ever showed y'all some of the stuff that people say to me, I do not stand in the popular spot. But I don't care. I'm not in this to win. I am not in this to win. You think I'm on your team? Not on your team. This is about my kids. This is about your kids. This is about the future. So I really don't care that people have issue with me, because I'm saying you shouldn't be in a group. You shouldn't be on a team. You should be with human beings running a human being race. It's not a popular spot to be. And you know how I know it's not a popular spot to be? When did they kill Martin Luther King? When did they kill Martin Luther King? They killed Martin Luther King. Well, first of all, they got to Malcolm. When did they kill Malcolm X? When he decided to start working with people who didn't look like him. When did they kill Martin Luther King? Because he'd been working with people who didn't look like him the whole time, but he got really good at it. And then when he started to talk about economics and war, they were okay with him. All right, you got us, King, man. You got it. Okay, you got some laws or whatever. And by the way, we messed up with the civil rights movement. I get it. I get it. I have a lot of friends on the rights, and I understand their points. And yes, we did mess up with the civil rights movement. We did some great things that we thought would work at the time, but we left a lot of people behind, right? And I always got to speak up for my friends on the right and on the left until y'all get off the right and the left. We made sure we took care of certain poor communities, but we left the others behind. We left a lot of poor white folks, as y'all call them, people of Euro descent, behind. And that generated a lot of hate. And I think if Dr. King knew what we knew now, and I don't even know if it would even be possible back then, but when people try to get you behind a law that's only going to help one group of a population, one stork birth lottery-ism, it's going to generate a lot of hate on the other side. And we've been making a lot of mistakes. But the thing is, I think that we're learning from the mistakes. And that's the good thing about the internet, is it allows us to look back, talk to the people, and find out why. Because if you're born in squalor and you see another community being helped, and you're living in oppression and squalor and nobody's even listening to you, it does something to you. It does something to your kids. And it's about time that we end this. And this is why Dr. King always talked about love. Love, and it's not even, it's wisdom. Love is the answer. It's always the answer. So talk to people different from you. Keep moving. Oh, yeah. Somebody else has a book. Oh, boy. Y'all in trouble. They coming for y'all. Somebody else has a book. He was releasing a book to talk about how Trump is crazy or something. So I think that's going to be interesting. But another thing Bannon said, Bannon came out and said, what does he say? He said the types of meetings that Trump was getting, I guess his administration, his group, they were having were treasonous meetings. Now, mind you, he wasn't at the meetings because he can lie. He don't care. He make stuff up, don't even care. But he said they're treasonous meetings. And so when I hear stuff like that, I know my Trump friends are kind of sitting back like, what you going to say next? You going to talk about Trump? You going to just hear me out for a second. Let's talk about some treason. What is treason? I don't know. Do you think every administration for the last 40 years that put more minorities in prison that were in slavery in the 1800s, do you think that's treason? Do you think killing the brother Lavoy Finicum was treason? Do you think jailing all citizens, white, black, any color, is treason? Do you think killing people when they come back from war with pharmaceuticals and making them homeless and not supporting the veterans and letting them go to prison, do you think that's treason? Do you think posse comitatus? So we can talk about some treason. I'm good with treason. Do you think giving nuclear weapons to Russia is treason? Do you think giving nuclear technology to North Korea is treason? Yeah. We can talk about some treason. Every administration is treasonous, and it always has been treasonous, traitorous, and they hate human life. And it's not because they're bad people. It's because we live in a sick system, and they don't have a choice. The first president that gets in there that doesn't bite into the burger of treason, they're going to kill him. That's what they did to JFK. So we can talk about treason. So that doesn't bother me. I kind of laughed at it a little bit. I think it's funny and delicious because I know the left's going to buy the hell out that book. They're going to make this other guy a millionaire too. He's going to be a billionaire. And I just think it's all silly, but I'm hoping through all of this, people are really starting to pay attention. People are really starting to see that no matter who you vote for, you screw the whole world. You screw the entire, or you screw big segments of the entire nation. And so that's what's going on. What else we got? Oh yeah, Dubai. I don't have a picture of it. I don't have a picture. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture real quick. So in Dubai, and this was kind of interesting, I think. They got these taxis. Have y'all seen the taxis? They were supposing to start in July. They got the Jetsons. Hold on, I might have to talk about this later because I don't have a whole lot of details on it. But they got the Jetson taxi starting in July. Here we go. Let me see if I can pull this down for y'all. Where they're going to start ferrying people around in futuristic drone taxis. Man, the world is about to change. Let me show you this picture. This is crazy. It's awesome. It's delicious. It's wonderful. But it speaks to automation. Once again, it speaks to this idea that, we're going to bring some jobs back. They're going to bring the jobs. We're going to get some jobs. You ain't bringing no jobs. Jobs ain't coming. Ain't no jobs. Y'all see this right here? Isn't that awesome? That's off the charts. Unless you're a taxi cab driver in Dubai, then it really sucks. And so they're going to start in July. I didn't look to see if they did it, but this was the plan. In July, they're going to start ferrying people around in Dubai in drone taxis. Man, the Uber driver's going to be pissed. But do you know how small the world is now? But let me think about it from this perspective. Let's think about it. Okay, so let's imagine when this goes all over the world. Got drone taxis everywhere. Hopefully they don't have laser beams on them because we didn't leave the 1% in control of every damn thing. But do I prefer that drone taxi be used in America to, I don't know, go to Chicago and pick up a CEO off the top of a Wall Street building and take him home while some single pregnant mother is in Michigan and dying because she can't get to the hospital? I said that for this reason. We are going in an unsustainable direction. Allowing profit to determine what happens. Like, would I rather these taxis be used to just funnel and move the 1% of the 1% around and then the 1% around, and maybe some of the top or upper middle class every now and then when they can afford something? Or do I want those taxis to actually serve humanity? Do I want them when some small baby, some kid is choking, a lady can press a button or she can just say, Alexa, get me a taxi, emergency, 911. And that it automatically takes off of the hospital building, shoots over to her house, and is at that baby's house, has a doctor, an EMT, or somebody within 3 or 4 minutes and saves a life. This is why we got to think about us running the world, not them. we can deploy all this technology to save human life. We can be running the human race for the human race, or we can be running it for the 1% of the 1%. It's really our choice. And this is why I say that from a sustainability perspective, we don't have a whole lot of time. The jobs are going to go away, which means you won't have the money, which means you won't control your government. You can't buy politicians. You'll basically end up in prison. As those jobs disappear, the people who got jobs, they're going to lose their jobs because you think the Uber drivers and the taxi drivers and everyone else are going to sit around and do nothing? No, they're gonna raise their kids in your kids' industry or whatever industry you send them to. They're gonna retool themselves. They're gonna go back to school, get jobs, and they're gonna lower your salaries. If we, as a human race, don't get back in the game of running like we're a part of the human race, we keep running for the white community, the black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community. You know, if we don't actually start building up trust and we start fighting over the silly crap that we do here instead of getting together and standing up with the people in Yemen and standing up with the people in Palestine and Israel and standing up with everybody to bring an end to handing the world to the 1% of the 1%. We don't do that. We're going to need some zombie apocalypse vehicles. That's what we're going to need because the world is going to fall apart. This is not a sustainable direction. That's why, like I said, I always go back to Peter Joseph. I say his name backwards sometimes. Joseph Peter Joseph. Yeah, I get tongue-tied. But in the Venus Project Zeitgeist movie, Ages of Abundance. I had a thought. I had a thought. I'm always having these little crazy thoughts. What does it look like down the road in the future when we actually deploy to a place where we're some sort of a resource or gift-based society? People say, well, people aren't going to do anything. There's no reason. They can't make money. They can't be wealthy. Da, da, da. I was thinking about this. Like, what if that society is designed around this idea of having competition based on popularity? Like, remember when you were kids, we used to go to the arcade and you had your little 3-digit name and you beat the video game Galaga and you were at the top. Like, that street credit was everything, right? You loved it. In a resource-based economy, you get to a place where competition is it. Like, what happens when we have a generation of people where, as a aeroscience engineer, my job is to make the Jetson taxi faster. I made it faster than you made it. And so now, because I did that, people are thankful. Wow, you're saving lives, right? Because now the taxi it's based on a jet, some electromagnetic gravitic drive, so it can go from the hospital and people's house and save people's lives within seconds as opposed to minutes. Wow, you did a great job, John. Whoa, you're just amazing. And like, what if reward in doing things for humanity and making all of our lives better becomes the currency? Imagine that. Imagine if we get to that Star Trek type of economy where kids are born and their goal isn't to compete and beat other kids out of wealth in the acquisition in jobs, but to actually do anything they can to get that street credit because, wow, they did something fantastic and phenomenal. And I was kind of thinking about it. And what if that bubbled to the top? And it's not even about drones and engineering, but what if it's just the trash man? I'm a software engineer and I'm automating to pick up a trash and I design a program that's more efficient and it works better and, trash gets picked up faster or something, uses less fuel, however it works. What if the people who do the most for humanity kind of bubble to the top? And there wasn't really a government, but it's more of a structure that's governing automation's deployment, right? Because, at that point, we're not telling people what to do. We know that causes problems. At that point, we just need people who are administrating perhaps where resources get deployed to make sure that it's equal across the entire planet, but also which directions that automation is going. So now the people at the top that are controlling where humanity is being blessed, they're people who have excelled at making life better for the world, for everybody. And they're people who are highly intelligent in terms of engineering in those disciplines in doing that. The people who are growing the food and building the houses. And it's just, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about it, threw it out there, but some of the beautiful and delicious things that we can get to if we can actually come together and get past this ignorant, competitive idea for rolling out a model, a currency model all around the world to every country that's based on me standing on top of your neck. I don't know. I think the future's bright, you guys. I think it doesn't have to be a zombie apocalypse. I think that we have to get past our little ignorant stork lotteries and get to a point where the future is more important than what we can rob today, what we can embezzle and put in our bank accounts, keeping it away from somebody else. So I think it's positive. I think it's very positive. You know, sometimes I get messages and they're telling me, I watch you, I get a little depressed. I don't get depressed. This is hope. It's hope that we can actually have these conversations and the king doesn't show up with a knife and a sword and a Praetorian guard. Like, we can talk about what do we want the future to be. We can be honest and open and look back at some of our leaders and determine where they made some mistakes and who got left behind and how do we make a model so that we're all inclusive in progress. Where do we need to progress and where do we need to conserve? Those type of discussions. And so to me, it's very, very hopeful. Sister Lynn said AI is scary and she thinks it's bad scary. AI is very scary. It's very scary. But think of it like this. I mean, everything is a tool. So think in that example of the Jetson taxi that goes to save the child's life who's choking. Think about it like this. If that is AI that actually is running that the drone ambulance, whatever it is, it actually is determining by itself. Like when that lady says, Alexa, I'm choking, or Alexa, my baby's choking, it's already determining, damn it, I got somewhere to be. So there's no person at a switchboard that's delaying things and, oh, I think we gotta, are you okay, ma'am? Do I need to send an ambulance? Blah, blah, blah. That drone is sitting on top of the hospital or deployed throughout cities or different places where people live, and immediately it says, I got somewhere to be right now. And it already, the AI can make that decision and head that direction and do what it needs to. But it is scary, and I agree with you. It's very scary because depending on who deploys that AI, we can have AI that's designed to save lives, and we can also have AI that's designed to take lives. AI that's designed to make profit and money. And right now, unfortunately, because we as a group, as a human group, haven't decided that AI will only be deployed to make our lives better, it's allowing them to utilize a tool to do whatever they want to do with it, right? And so to me, it's scary, but to me, it's a great time for it to be scary, because now we can talk about why is it scary and what are our requirements for our governments and these big corporations in terms of how they deploy it. Maybe using it to make a little money on Facebook or however they're doing it. Maybe that's okay to some degree, as long as it's not stirring up division. But perhaps it's not okay when it comes to war. It's not okay when it comes to any sort of thing that's destructive to humanity. So I'm not so scared of AI. I'm more concerned with who has the AI. Let me see, what else are you guys talking about? Yes, Brother Mark, needs to be human first. We got to get past our little ignorant divisions. And I think the future is bright. Yes, I think we have a lot of really positive things to look forward in the future, but we got to lay down our sword for our neighbor. We got to lay down our sword for people who we've offended and that offended us. You always got to look out and reach out and be a peacekeeper. Don't be a peacemaker. Be a peacemaker. Peacekeepers are useless today. In a time of peace, peacekeepers are good. But we have a destabilized planet. We have a destabilized world. And as long as we live here, we need peacemakers. We need people who are going to go out to the community that's not a part of them and bring the olive branches. This is what we need. You know, we need the Israelis reaching out to the Palestinians. We need the Palestinians reaching out to the Israelis. We need Americans reaching out to the folks in Yemen. We need them reaching back. We need Pakistanis to reach out to the folks in India to reach out to Pakistan. Like, we need to heal these divides. We need to break this stuff down and get back in the human race. That's what it's about. It's about being human. It's about getting rid of your stork ignorance, our stork ignorances, our birth lottery foolishness. What else we got? Yeah, the job loss will be unreal. Yes, yeah, Lynn, and the job loss is going to be unreal. And the realities I think we got to face is that job loss is coming no matter what anybody wants. The corporations who run this world will not slow down their automation. In fact, if anything, they're speeding it up. So the only thing that's scary about it, is who holds it. We don't have to worry about coal miners losing their jobs if the coal miners can go be parents. If they've got the food, they got a place to live, they have what they need, they can go retool, rekit, and figure out how they want to help humanity in another type of a job, right? We have the automation to feed them, so why wouldn't we do that? We have the automation to feed everybody in Yemen. And so I think the crisis we're at is we have a world that's divided, and the people who are holding the keys to freeing humanity, they're not very nice people. That's what's scary to me. They're not very nice people, and the only control they have over this planet is that they have a very small group of human beings who are cheering them. We have to infect those people to stop cheering the evil people that run this world and pull them back. You know the best way, if you really love your politician and you really think they really mean well, you really love your kids and you really want them to have a good life, you prepare them for life. You tell them what's wrong and you tell them what's right. You know what happens to a child when you cheer it and you just encourage them and you never instruct them at all? You make a brat. And where we are is all of our politicians all the time in the Western world are brats. Unfortunately, brats can be very destructive when they have a massive military. And this is what Congress and Senate and every administration always is about. They're always about doing what Wall Street tells them what to do. All right, Brother Jimmy, last thing I'm saying, Brother James, what do you say? Are you going to take it up for a run so we can see? Oh, no, Brother James. Never do 1.0. Version 1.0, never. Never, ever. No. Version 1.0, that's for the robots. You let the robots go up, We learned this from being a software engineer. Oh, no, never do don't buy version 1.0 and don't go up in it, But the great thing is, in terms of stability, I mean, these quadcopters, you can actually make them so that they are stable, so we don't have crashing as a problem. Because if you lose one engine, you have multiple engines. And so there are ways that we improve technology, make it safer and safer and safer and safer, if we require that. If we let the people who make this stuff figure out how to put a laser beam on it and machine guns and that's the priority, then they're not going to be as stable. They're going to kill and murder a lot of people because it makes a lot of sense, right? If you're a government, you want to invade people, you're not worried about the person in there, the soldier, the troop. Oh, please, they're expendable. What you want to make sure is that quadcopter can kill as many people as possible. Imagine if they take that and they militarize that instead of ferrying people around to Dubai. That's when we're going to be in some real trouble. All right. I guess the last thing I say, Brother Jimmy brought in the industrial hemp, and DA, and RICO. And so the last thing I'm going to say on that one. Oh, you know what? Before I say that, it was a great interview I posted yesterday. Progressor Griff, one of the brothers that started Public Enemy. Great interview he did with Abby Martin. Y'all got to watch that. Insight going back, old interview, but it was just real deep and kind of laying things out, how he served in the military, the drugs they gave him, and how he backed away from it, the explanation of staying away from extreme sides, and how the entertainment industry is it always cushies up to a side, wherein back it used to be moderate and say the truth and why they're being attacked. Great interview he did yesterday. But he got into the drug war also. And so when it comes down to the drug war, and the last thing I'll say, and I'll shut down for the day, but, people are going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, well, this is an identity thing, right? They're going to put the name out. They're going to say it's the Republicans. They're going to say it's Trump. They're going to say it's Democrats. They're going to say Obama didn't do this. The reality is it's always a game of good cop, bad cop. They play you against yourself all the time. They put laws in and they take laws out. And they put them back in and they take them. You ever played the hokey pokey? Yeah, we used to play the hokey pokey when I was a kid. You put your left foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your left foot in and shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the Democrats and the Republicans around. That's what it is. They got you dancing and singing. And that's why nothing ever gets anywhere. If they were serious about state rights, if they were serious about getting these kids out of these prisons, if they were serious about getting the guns off the street, if they were serious about any of the stuff that you want them to be serious about, that you believe they're serious about, they would have deschedulized cannabis and hemp a long time ago, if they were serious. But they're not serious. They're playing you for the hokey pokey, and you are simply just going to be the next person in the whack-a-mole game. Don't get whacked. That's the word of the day. Y'all have a great weekend. Don't get whacked by the whack-a-mole, because if you empower the whack-a-mole, eventually you will get whacked. Love y'all to death. Bye-bye. We'll see you soon.